Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what I want to do is take a look at watches that are really interesting watches under $500. I'm not going to look at a lot of them, which is just a sample. Tourbillon under 1200 and Wandering Hours under 1200. Now, they're all by Zurich watchmaker. But what I want to do is the way I sort of stumble across these is that there's some really good watches, one of my favorite, Daniel Roth, and look at how they both use pretty much similar kinds of things. The differences are, of course, in all the dial and so on and so forth, but and of course the movement and the price. But what this says in a way, you can still get a really interesting horology for not too much money. And then I can look at Daniel Roth watches that are like without any money because I'm just looking. Okay, let's get started. Now, one of the things I've always liked was the Daniel Roth Aethys 2. And the thing about the Aethys 2 is that at 9 o'clock, there's a second hand with 3 arms. And there are 3 tracks to keep, to show the exact position of the second hand. So what it is that in the top track, which is the longest arm, that goes from 0 to 20, and then from the next one, it goes for, these are the seconds, and then it goes from 21 to 40, and then finally from 40 to 60. So, I mean, it's a really interesting way of doing something relatively simple. Now, Zurich has something called the Holograph 2 automatic. By the way, the Daniel Roth has a Frederick Piguet 151 in it. I found a little picture of it there, and a nice looking movement. Okay, now, and hand wound too. Now, the Zurich Holograph 2, now this is an automatic. It has a Miyota 82 S7 movement that runs at 3 hertz, which is nice. Now, what they have a 2-armed hour hand and minute hand, and it has 4 tracks. And it has a really interesting way, very much like the Aethys 2, for keeping time, and it makes it something other than just hour and minute hands. Now, for tourbillons that are under $1,200, the Zurich's Holograph Tourbillon Collector's Edition Fume Black, 1995. And again, this has a movement that I couldn't find the base of it, so I thought I better not mention it. That is a Zurich kind of base movement. I think they have a Chinese movement in it, but that's neither here nor there. They got a tourbillon in it, and it's under $1,200, and they have that same kind of multi-track hour and minute. Now, the one that led me here was a Daniel Roth Masters Tourbillon 8-day. This is between about $80,000 or $90,000. This one I saw was advertised at about $101,400. Well, this is something I can't afford. Caliber DR for Daniel Roth 5301. Really cool watch with, for something like that. I really have it. I'm not a fan of tourbillons, but I know a lot of people are. And again, if a tourbillon fan with a very limited budget, you might want to take a look at these. Now, some reviewers, they call anything that's not Swiss or not Seiko junk. And that's not necessarily true. I think you ought to really have a good look at it and find something affordable and interesting. Now, the final one is Wandering Hours, again by Zurich. It's called the Scrambler Automatic Wandering Hour. It's got a Miyota 90S5. Now, the 90S5 comes under what they call the Miyota Premium Automatic Caliber. I don't know what that means, except it's considered, at least by them, as better than their other calibers. And this one is $11.99. Now, I have down below there before 2023. Apparently, the Scrambler Automatic Wandering Hour is brand new, and these are on pre-order. And so they had a pre-order, I guess, before January, with a $450 discount, and then it comes out to be $11.99. So if you're interested, take a look. But I've always liked Wandering Hours. They're very interesting watches. Other ones you can find, there's a wonderful one that's made by H. Moser. Again, it's out of my budget. And there's another interesting one of the early ones by Audemars Piguet. So here's another thing. So if you're a collector on a budget, I mean, a very restricted budget, and let's face it, all of us are at some point, these are some watches to consider. They might be a lot of fun to add to your collection, interesting to have. I would very much be interested in your comments. Let me know what you think. It's an opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.